So hello everyone. Today is kind of a special video. I just thought I'd talk about this. Of course, the moment I on pause after doing like 5 perfect laps. Anyways, I was going to talk about how to get better in BeamNG because probably many new players and even intermediate players probably don't really like to play rear-wheel drive vehicles. And I'm here to tell you how to control them slightly more easily, especially for people on keyboard, since I'm playing on keyboard as well. Now, I have some mods that you might not have. I think the only one that actually influences the driving is tire temperatures and redux stuff. But once tires are up temp, like they are right now, it basically is the same as in BeamNG.drive. Now, to start, first thing you'll want to get is a vehicle that's rear-wheel drive, of course. Like right now, I am driving a 240BX, a slightly modified version of it because I wanted a little bit more power. But it is technically a sports spec. It is not racing. It is honestly, nothing has been tweaked about the suspension. I will be showing you the specs of the vehicle itself at the end of the video. But the gist of it is you want a vehicle that is well balanced. You can see I'm taking the corners and it's not sliding out incredibly, and it's not understeering either. Not too much at least. So this vehicle itself is pretty balanced. You'll want to get yourself a vehicle like that, or just copy mine at the end of the video. What this does is it lets you, especially on keyboard, smash the throttle and then just control it like right now. The second key to getting better is using the tools that BeamNG has to get better. Like right now, you can't see them because they're in the options that I'll show later. But I have some not throttle assistance, some oversteer assistance. You'll see it in the next corner. I'll purposely maybe almost spin out, but see, I'm not touching any keys, and you can see the front wheels are slightly turning. And you won't see them because I'm too low of speed for them to be active. But yeah, so the oversteer assistance is a good key. Now, you don't want it to be too aggressive. I turn mine down a lot because the only reason I use it is to prevent me from immediately spinning out. But if you put it too high, if you go to recover, you'll end up doing what I'll showcase now. You end up sliding, and then you want to recover, and you'll do this. Because the oversteer's assistant is almost already recovering the drift itself, and your slight tap will send you into the wall. So you don't want it too high, you just want it just barely so that when you smash the throttle, it just barely holds it, and you don't even have to hold the throttle sometimes. Now, of course, adjust it to your preferences and practice with it, because practice will make you better than any tutorial could ever have. I have probably 500 hours in this game of actual driving, maybe even more. But yeah, so that's the first one. The second assistant that I use is limited steering. As you can see, I'm holding the key to steer right now, and you could have seen it wasn't steering all that much. You'll see it on the next corner since it's high speed. But I am holding turn right now, and it didn't go past, I think it's 30% that I set it at. This will help you a lot in high speed corners. It'll make you understeer less. This combined with the oversteer assisted will make you, one, your wheels won't turn too much. So in an instance where your front wheels have lots of grip, won't make you spin out too much, and the oversteer assistant can help you recover. Be careful though, the oversteer assistant is overwritten by your controls, so if you continue steering right, the oversteer assistant will not be recovering your vehicle. At least I believe that is what it does. But yeah, so the tools, use them. I stopped using them for a while and I could not drive for my life, so I turned them back on and tweaked them instead. One warning, if you're using race tires, which I am not, because I'm talking about regular configs, if you're using race tires, it might be better to turn the understeer assistant slightly down, because race tires have so much grip, you understeer rarely unless it's for vehicles that do understeer a lot. So you want to turn it down because it won't let you steer enough and use the wheels to the maximum, especially when going like 200 kilometers per hour. It reduces the speed at which you turn and the maximum amount of turning. Those are two different settings that you can tweak independently. But yeah, so if you're using race tires, you could turn them down a lot more because they won't let you use the tires fully. So yeah. So then about strategy and learning how to drift or race, one of the things I do a lot is just tap the throttles. You'll probably have a lot of footage if you want to rewatch it, just look at the RPMs and the brakes. There's a lot of instances where I tap it because I'm on keyboard. This paired with another one of BeamNG's great physics and compatibility is that the keys are set to gradual, so once you press on them, and I should have put the throttle thing down there, it'll slowly ramp up from 0 to 100 and it won't go to 100 straight away. So tapping it only gives you like taps of 20%, which is good for brakes or throttle if you want to slightly recover something in a turn, or if you just want to power through something, or you're on the edge of a drift and you just continue tapping it like right now to keep the drift going without having to like counter steer too much. I'm kind of surprised I've been able to do this many laps without spinning out. This video has been going too flawlessly. I've been driving this for maybe like 20-25 minutes. First time driving this map. It's honestly a pretty good circuit. I might link the download, but I don't think I have it myself. I'll try to find it. But yeah, because this map is a very short map, maybe about a minute. But it has lots of well, it's not the best. It's just the corners are really good. They're pretty gradual and easy to learn. Yep, of course, easy to learn, and then I spin out. It had to happen. But yeah, the corners like this, they aren't too sharp. They're very like gradual and easy to control the drift on, like I showcased in the many laps that I did while talking. But yeah, corners like this can help you with tuning the understeer assistant and the steering, while corners like this one can help you with if I was able to actually drive. But this one is like one of the best, along with the starter one, to like actually control a drift if the edge of the thing wasn't actually dirt. But yeah, another thing, if we dive quickly into like camera settings, I, as you can see, use my mouse to move my camera instead of a fixed camera. This allows me to see my wheels and point it in the direction I want to see the next corner. So if I want to see the next corner, I can look at it and like subconsciously just look at my car as well. Now, some things I don't really recommend or do, depending on your driving style. You might have seen every time I shift of a gear, the RPMs don't act like on a normal car. That's because I turned off the clutch assistant, and the rev matching, So every time I downshift, it forces the clutch to make the engine go faster, which could initiate a drift. I didn't do it here, but you get the thing. The wheels are spinning at the speed they should, and they slow down because the engine's going too slowly. And when I shift up, it disengages the clutch because my shift up button is also attached to the clutch. That's great. I think this does. I don't think this did damage. It didn't. Good. Anyways, so every time I shift, I press the clutch and the shift up button at the same time because they're the same one. And so since I'm still have my finger on the throttle, well, it just goes into like the rev limiter, which this can also initiate a drift. This is two things you can use on a corner. If you are sliding out and understeering, you can downshift. You have to have some skill to use that because you will just straight up slide. If I can demonstrate, if I go into this corner and then I shift up, that happens. Of course, it crashes the car because I'm trying to showcase stuff, but the same thing happens if you downshift. I'll showcase it on the first corner. If you downshift too aggressively, like 2 gears at the same time, well then this will happen. That, you see the rear slid out? That's what happens. You can use those to your advantage. Honestly, I think for beginners you should leave that turned off because it will only lead to crashes. I also kind of recommend using manual transmissions. It'll have better timing. I know most people already use it, but beginners maybe not. I use shift and control to shift up and shift down, but this will just give you a better control because I honestly think that automatic transmission is very sluggish. It will also, if you're hitting the rev limiter, it will just shift, and then you'll lose your drift because you won't have enough torque to continue with it, or it won't downshift in a turn and it'll stay on the wrong gear and you won't have enough torque and you'll lose some time. Now is the time where I show you the spec of the car, because I know some people might want it. Their basic specs, honestly, they're just you can probably see by the paint job. Let's me in. I have a loss of config. It's this one. It is. You can check the same wheels. It is this one, Turbo Special, with engines. I have performance, stage 2 performance long block. I have sport exhaust, which I believe is already there. High performance that. 6-speed manual transmission. Race transmission, because that means I can tune the gears, though I don't think I did. If I did, you'll see it because I'll showcase the things. I put the flywheel, the normal one, because that makes it slightly, well, it's harder for the engine to rev up, which means that there's a slower response time in the drift, which makes it easier to control, because instead of it spinning out really quickly because the engine's revving really quickly, well, it takes time for it to rev and then break traction, so it's easier to do that. But that also amplifies the shift up and shift down thing that I talked about with the clutch, because it takes more time for it to rev match, so it makes you spin out slightly more. Or if you rev up, well, shifting up, it'll spin it more because it has more energy and it'll stay there longer. Now, there's nothing like really different about it. Front bumper has sport lip, which doesn't really influence anything. I have a skid plate up front because if there's some really big elevation changes, sometimes it bottoms out. The suspensions are entirely stock. I believe it comes with sport brakes default. The wheels might be a bigger variant, but they might also be the stock ones. The rest of it is pretty stock. Yep, just might have been sport side skirts, but those might have also been there. And it is this front that I put just because I wanted to do different. The other ones all had pop-up lights, and this one looked like my old dad cars. That was not in the right order. My dad's old car from like 2005. Don't know what year it was. It was a Subaru, and it looked a bit like this. So I picked that. Anyways, yeah, that is just basic. It's the stage 1 turbocharger. Now to tuning, it is slightly different. This is just the amount of force you put to the brake. So 100% means when your button or whatever you're using, if you're using 100% of the brakes, well, here it's also 100%. It's 100% in total. If you're pressing on the button, it goes to 100%, and this is at 50, you get 50. If you're using a controller and you're at 50%, and this is at 50%, you'll get 25% of the braking. This is something you want to turn down if you're using a vehicle like the Bullite, which does not have anti-lock braking system. You'll want to put this all the way to the minimum, and even then you'll still understeer. I tried it. Basic brake pads and basic brake calipers and just basic brakes. The worst brakes you can have with this at, like, I don't know, like, oh, this one goes to all the way to 20. I think the other one only went down to like 60 unless they changed it. But it's still locked up the brakes. Now here you can see I have 25%. I could actually put that down to 20%. This is for brake cooling. On larger circuits, like the one I would recommend you train on, which is either this one or the Nürburgring. Nürburgring, I know, and other circuits, I had this at 12% and this one at 12%, which is the default. You can see it there. They overheated and it led to brake fade, so I changed it. 25% fuel, I think that's default. If not, I don't know, 25%. I put 9 psi. This is just, I could actually put it down to 8,000. I will, because the last 200 is not needed. Because power curve is like this and then goes down after like 7,800. So that last 200 is pretty useless, unless you want to do the shift up rev, which you can just put it to like maximum. Though I don't recommend because you'll break your valves. Gears, if they're changed, you can put the same as mine if you want, or adjust yours. Now camber, I know I messed with this a bit. I put some toe, which I know kind of how it works. I just know that it helps grip in corners, so I put 15% forward. Camber slightly, that just makes the wheels like go like this. Like you probably saw some modded cars that have like slanted wheels at like 60 degrees. You don't want that because that means your contact patch. Like here, you can see I have slightly too much camber for straightforward, because the little arrow is on the 1/3 of the tire and not in the middle. In curves with the sport suspension that this has, this is slightly better because this car will sway a lot, and if I do this and I turn, you'll kind of see, I don't know if I went fast enough for the vehicle to actually sway. See, it goes all the way to the edge of the tire. And if you don't have some camber, it'll go all the way to the edge, and then you'll start losing because the inner side of the tire won't have some traction. So mess with that to your preferences, or watch another video on tuning that's actually for that. And tire pressure, I put 7.5 psi because it just allows a quick contact patch. This is mostly for sport tires. If you are using race tires, though I didn't experiment with this too much, if the tire is really slim, you might not want this because it'll make the tire deform and have less traction. But here, since it's a sport tire and it's already big and deforms a lot, I put this because it means that there's a better contact patch itself. At higher speeds it doesn't matter too much, but when you slow down it actually compresses more and helps. I played with this a little bit and I found, oh, it's better when it's slow with the settings that I have. So if you have some other settings, it might be, tire pressure might be different for you. 0.5 more, this just makes the car roll slightly less. And apart from that, I think that is all of the mods for this vehicle. I will be going in the assistance, so gameplay, I believe. So oversteer assistant is at 75% strength. at 75 kilometers per hour. So that's the assistant that counter steers. And then here's the high speed. So steer speed is 25% beyond, I believe is, yeah, well, this speed, I think I just changed it. I think it was at like 199. Of course, accidentally clicked it. Okay, I'll leave it there. And then I put it start at 20 kilometers an hour, but because though you might not want this, because I found that on some corners, like the maps of Stairway Mountain, which is map that I found while listening to another YouTuber, Bristol Plays, back in the day when he did play BeamNG. Those corners are very slow speed, and I found that when you brake and then start to go for the corner, wheels just do this, and then you understeer a lot. So you might want to tweak this depending on the map you use. And then, oh, I don't have limit steering at high speed. Oh, I thought I did. I really thought. I guess it just goes really slowly, so much that it just looks like it's, because that's the maximum, and it was only using like this. I guess it just goes so slowly that I didn't realize that. But yeah, so map recommendations, I recommend either this one, which is this one, which I'm gonna try to find and put it in the video, or the Nürburgring. The Nürburgring is a hard map, but I love it for one reason, and I recommend it for one reason. It has such a great diversity of corners that for sharpening all your senses at the same time, you don't need to switch maps. You can just, once you've mastered the map, which is going to take you a long time, you're also going to have gotten a lot better. It took me a couple of hours to actually figure out this map, compared to the one I was just driving on that took me like 5 minutes. I did like 3 laps, and then I just chained them all together. That's pretty fine. Now this variant, I don't know the time I'm gonna achieve on it, but I know that the variant before this was, which was basically the same thing, just slightly different, I did an 8 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm just gonna pause that and mute my Discord, because the squad's talking about doing squad battles in War Thunder, so. But yeah. Nürburgring has like, well, it has straights, it has corners, it has high speed, it has slow speeds. Of course, I'm still using, keep in mind I'm still using this, so you're gonna have way better traction at the start than I have. But yeah, I did an 8 minutes 40 seconds with basically this car. It's not that fast, but this car only has like 300 horsepower. It's like 299, I think, and around the same amount of torque, which means you don't go too fast on the straights, but you don't spin out too much when you push on the throttle in the corners. But yeah, so here you can see the slightly lower speed corners, and they flow together real well. Now I'll swing back to the tactic of tapping the throttle. You can see I'm doing it in the corners like this one to prevent me from oversteering. And tapping the brakes is because when you hit the brakes, all the weight goes to the front, and so the front tires can't handle all that weight, just like happened there. They understeered, and I crashed because I was going too fast. In that situation, you brake a lot, and then when the corner comes up, instead of continuing to brake and then understeering, you can let go and tap the brakes, which makes you slow down slightly more, while not ruining too much your efficiency on front tires. Your turning efficiency, that is. So if you're overspeeding, you tap the brakes, and if you're taking a corner, just like when you want to hit the gas, you tap it, because if you hold it, you'll slip out, and then it'll be slower because your rear tires have less traction, and so they're you're accelerating slower, and you also have to recover, which loses your time. If you're actually trying to drift the corners, then you also want to tap it, because if you just hold it, you'll have, especially if the rear tires are sports tires, or no, if you're in race tires especially, once you lose traction, it is, you need to let go of the throttle to be able to recover. If you don't let go of the throttle, your tires will keep sliding. Sport tires are a little bit more forgiving, because once you're sideways, the front tires will also slip. Race tires will not. So you will like oversteer. It's either oversteer or no oversteer. Contrary to like sport tires that will, God, I'm driving badly right now. Compared to like sport tires that they will slowly lose traction. Race tires will hold the road until they can't. But yeah, so if you are wanting to drift, you need the steering assistant, the oversteer assistant, slightly lower, just like I have. This means that the recovering is actually done by you, which you can tap the steering. Of course, this is all in the context that you're using a keyboard. Yep, there we go. But yeah, if you're in a car like this, you could hold the throttle down, which is why I love this car. You can hold the throttle because it doesn't have enough torque to actually make you spontaneously drift. At least not in like the higher gears. You can be surprised to get in a drift in like 5th gear at high speeds, because the rear is lifting, because there's no downforce and a lot of air going below. This might be outdated information once BeamNG dropped their like reworked aerodynamics physics. But yeah, that drift was kind of nice, and that's because I was tapping the steering. You probably saw that. Trying to showcasing it, but no, it's not the best. Here, to get a faster turn, you could do the strategy of downshifting one more and letting the rear slide out. I don't do that too often, because you are already slowing down, and the engine's already like going down in RPMs a lot, and the differences between like 2nd and 3rd gear and 1st and 2nd is way bigger than 4th and 5th and so on. So they will slide out way more at low speed. So it all depends on your skill level of how comfortable you are. I hope this video kind of helps with that. You know, I'm not the best teacher, because I'm not a teacher, I'm a gamer. But hope some tips here help you slightly. If you copy this vehicle and you use keyboard, and you copied also my settings, though I recommend tweaking them to your preferences, you will have a pretty good starter pack, because this vehicle is well tuned to not slide out too much and to be very recoverable. Yep. It's surprising, the 8% more that I put, or no, this is still 25% because I didn't save the last one. Yep. This is a 4th gear corner. Forgot about that, because I memorized the entire Nürburgring in like 5 to 10 hours, maybe more like 15. I mean, I've got a couple videos of me playing the Nürburgring. I have like memorized it a bit to be able to beat this 1000 horsepower supercar using like a 500 horsepower V8 powered 200 BX. Well, it's a V special BX, but and corners like this are also great, because you don't, even if you spin out, the front's just gonna go and eat the curb, and you won't actually spin out too much. But yeah, Nürburgring is challenging to get a good record on, but if you take it slowly in a config like this, I have gotten once, like 2 laps in a row that I did not do, that I didn't crash. Now, of course, I'm talking and it's taking some of my attention away to think about what to say, though I don't think too much. But yeah, if you get comfortable with the Nürburgring and you know it and take it like kind of casually in a car like this, it is a good training map. See that oversteer assistant in the works, and also some slight recovering. It's all something that once you you gotta learn and you gotta do it out of habit. Like once I start like oversteering, I'll tap the throttle and I'll tap the steering, because I've gotten so many times where it's just like you hold it because you're desperate, or you tap it a little bit too long, and it just completely, well, it does this because you hold it too long. But because like honestly, it's better to like not recover too much and just let go of the throttle completely, and just tap and just hold the brake. And then if you can't recover it enough and you tap the brakes, especially in this car, it'll tend to straighten out, especially if you then try to recover it. Since all the weight goes to the front and you steer with the front, it'll try to realign itself. You see, it didn't go too bad back there. It's just because I wasn't in the best position to show you, and I'm just showing you on the whim. But yeah, it's something like BeamNG is a game that you have to get used to the actual physics engine, and every car is different to drive, so you can just switch from one to another and be like, it's gonna be the same thing. Even within the configurations, they're gonna handle so much differently. Like this car, instead of the 2.4, if you put the 4.5, you have so much torque. As soon as you hold the throttle, you will spin out. Even with race tires, it just doesn't matter. But this one has a little torque because the 2.4 liter inline 4 that's tweaked especially just for like training, because I don't want to like have to pay too much attention on the road, and I just want to chill and make a pretty good like run. So yeah, kind of a long video to help people, but I hope it helps, because I'm very bad at telling people how to do things, and I don't think I told you guys it. I don't really think I actually told you guys how to do anything. I just kind of rambled about what I do. But yeah, Nürburgring, pretty good map. Other map that I was there before that I showcased, also pretty good map. It is way shorter, so if you want to actually practice, you can learn the map quite easily. So it makes it better than Nürburgring, which is way harder to memorize. But yeah, hopefully that helped a little bit. And there, lap complete in probably I don't know how much time, and without too great incident. I mean, I hit the wall a couple times, but car still drove fine. No bent wheels or anything. I know the back wheel looks bent because the bumper kind of goes in. Kind of trippy that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope it helped. And I will catch you guys in another live stream or video. See ya!